Welcome to Heavenly Sleep. Tonight we begin the story of a man who stood beneath a canopy of stars and listened to a voice no one else could hear. A man who was asked to leave everything he knew to follow a promise he couldn't yet see. His name was Abraham, and maybe tonight your heart is carrying the same question he carried. What if God is calling me to walk by faith and not by sight? So many nights we lay down with heavy thoughts, questions about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday, uncertainty about where we're going. But just for now, in this soft space, let's return to a quieter time, a simpler voice, a sacred promise. You are not here by accident. This moment is intentional, and tonight as you rest, may the same God who called Abraham out of his old life call your soul gently into peace. Let's begin. By breathing together, inhale grace, exhale pressure. Inhale peace, exhale hurry. Inhale rest, exhale control. Now let your eyes close if they haven't already. Feel the weight of the day leaving your body. Let your hands relax, let your thoughts soften. Let your heart settle. You are safe. You are seen. You are held. Let us pray together, dear God. I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I know you hold me. I've tried so hard to figure everything out, to plan every detail, to make sense of every step. But tonight I let go. Tonight I trust you, not just with my future, but with my now. Speak to me like you spoke to Abraham. Call me out of my fear, out of my doubt, out of my past, and lead me gently into the unknown. Amen. Settle into the beginning of this story. A story of calling, of wandering, of waiting. Abraham didn't have all the answers. He didn't need to. All he had was a voice, a promise, and enough courage to say yes. In the land of yore, Abraham lived a comfortable life. He had wealth, family, a reputation. But comfort was not his calling. God whispered into his spirit, "Leave this place. Leave your father's house. Leave what is known, and go to the land I will show you." That's all he said. He didn't give a map. He didn't give details. He gave a promise. "I will make you into a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing." So Abraham packed his life into bags and baskets. He took Sarai his wife, Lot his nephew, his servants, his animals and his faith, and he walked. The road wasn't paved. The nights were long, the winds were cold, but above him the stars began to speak, each one a reminder, a whisper of the promise. Look up, can you count them? So shall your descendants be. The journey was not easy, but it was sacred. Maybe that's where you are right now, not where you were, not yet where you're going. Just somewhere in between, walking, trusting, hoping. Let this story be your guide tonight. Let it remind you that faith doesn't always look like knowing. It looks like moving forward when nothing is certain but God. Let this soft rhythm of story cradle you. Let the words wrap around your soul like a blanket. You don't need to do anything now. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to understand. You just need to rest. God sees the steps you've taken, the tears you haven't told anyone about, the prayers you're too tired to pray. He hears them anyway, and he's still writing your story, just like he did with Abraham. So breathe, let the past go, let tomorrow wait. Let this moment hold you. You are not alone. You have never been. The same God who lit up the stars above Abraham's head is lighting your way too. And in the next part, we'll walk deeper into Abraham's journey. We'll feel the silence between the promises and discover the kind of peace that only comes from trusting a voice in the dark. Abraham and Sarai wandered for years, pitching tents under changing skies, living. In the in-between they saw cities rise and deserts stretch endlessly, and still the promise echoed. Every time Abraham looked at Sarai, he wondered, how could we be the beginning of nations? She had no child. Her arms were empty. Her laughter had grown quiet, but the promise did not waver. One night under the stars, Abraham cried out, "Lord, how will? I know you said I would be the father of many, but all I see is delay. All I feel is time slipping through my fingers." And God responded not with thunder, but with covenant. He told Abraham to bring a sacrifice, and there in a sacred moment beneath the sky, God made a promise not built on Abraham's faithfulness, but on his own. He put Abraham into a deep sleep, and in that sleep, God passed between the sacrifice, a divine sign that even if Abraham failed, God would remain faithful. Maybe you've been trying so hard to be faithful, to do everything right, to stay strong while waiting. But what if tonight you let God be faithful for you? What if you rested while he reminded you, I will keep my promise, even if you doubt, even if you fall, even if you forget? That's the kind of love that carried Abraham, and it's the same love carrying you. So lay down now, let the stars rise above you in your mind. Each one, a tiny voice saying, you are not forgotten, you are part of something bigger. You are the answer to a promise made long ago. As the nights passed, Abraham listened closely, even when the silence stretched on longer than expected, even when the ground seemed to give no fruit. Still he chose to wait, not because waiting was easy, but because the one who promised had never failed him. Sarai too held the promise inside her, not in her body yet, but in her heart. She laughed at first, at the idea of bearing a child in her old age, but even laughter was a door, and behind it was belief. God is not bound by what we understand. He is not limited by age or logic. He speaks to the womb of your future, even when it feels barren, and says, live, grow, be born. Abraham stood on hills and looked over lands that would one day belong to his children. He didn't own it yet, but he walked on it anyway. Every step a silent declaration, I trust you, even now, even still. So tonight as you lie in bed, think of your own journey, of the places you've walked, of the prayers you've whispered, of the stars you've counted. Let the story of Abraham be a mirror, a reminder that promises are planted long before they bloom. And in the next part, we will walk with Abraham toward the mountain where faith is tested and love is revealed. Abraham had waited for years, not just ordinary years, but years marked by longing, silence, and wandering. He waited through deserts with no path, through nights where the only voice was his own doubt, through mornings when hope felt more like memory than promise. He waited through the ache of delay and the weight of obedience, because he believed the one who had spoken. Somewhere inside, beyond the silence, beyond the aging body and the barren womb, faith had taken root, deeper than time, stronger than logic. And then it came, the promise, Isaac, a child not born from strategy, but from laughter and grace, from a womb once closed and now filled, from a heart once skeptical and now overflowing. Sarai, now Sarah, held the child she had once called impossible. Her arms, once empty, now carried joy. And Abraham saw in Isaac not just a son, but a seed, a future, a star brought down to earth, the embodiment of a covenant, a name written in heaven and now breathing beside him. Isaac grew, and every step he took reminded Abraham that God was good. Every laugh echoed the faithfulness of the promise. Every word from the boy's lips was a song of fulfillment. Abraham's heart deepened with gratitude. His soul breathed easier. The journey, the waiting, the wilderness, it had all meant something. God had not just given, he had remembered. And then, a voice, familiar, sacred, but heavy like a storm cloud. Take your son, your only son, the one you love, Isaac, and offer him to me as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you. The words did not bring confusion. They brought a holy ache, because Abraham understood. This was not just about sacrifice. It was about surrender, not about loss. But trust, it was not just the boy on the altar. It was the promise itself. The future, the legacy, the joy, the miracle. Still, Abraham rose early, not because he wanted to, but because delay would have been disobedience. He gathered the wood. He saddled the donkey. He called to Isaac and 2 servants. And they walked. 3 days they journeyed. 3 days with Isaac at his side. 3 days of watching the boy laugh, sleep, speak. 3 days of trying to memorize his voice. 3 days of each step pressing deeper into his soul. 3 days of holding back tears. 3 days of faith battling fear. On the 3rd day, the mountain appeared, and Abraham said to the servants, Stay here, the boy and I will go worship, and then we will return. We faith had not left his feet. It had filled his voice. Isaac carried the wood. Abraham carried the fire and the knife, and together they climbed, step by step, breath by breath. Father, Isaac asked, the fire and the wood are here, but where is the lamb for the offering? And Abraham answered, not with certainty, but with hope trembling in his bones. God himself will provide. Maybe that's where you are tonight, climbing a mountain you never expected, carrying something precious, something heavy, telling your heart over and over, God will provide, even when you don't see how, even when the steps are shaky, even when your soul feels like it's walking blindfolded. At the top, Abraham built the altar. Stone by stone, he arranged the wood. He looked at his son, the miracle, the fulfillment, and with hands that had once caught that newborn body in joy, he laid him down. There were no birds, no wind, just the silence of surrender and the rhythm of heartbreak. Abraham raised the knife, not because he wanted to, but because he trusted. The same God who gave this child could give him back. The same God who promised was the same God who could resurrect. And then, a voice, sudden and soft, urgent and calm. Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know you fear God. You have not withheld your son from me. Abraham collapsed in relief, his soul exhaled, and then, in the quiet after obedience, he saw it, a ram, caught in a thicket, a provision waiting in the place of surrender, not before the climb, not along the way, but in the moment when hands let go, when the heart said yes, when the altar was full. Maybe that's where you are right now. At the edge, at the altar, heart trembling, faith straining, waiting for the ram in the thicket. God sees you. He knows the weight you carry, the prayers you've whispered, the things you've laid down in secret. He is not distant. He is not late. He is not unsure. He is the God who provides, not a moment too soon, not a breath too late, but in the fullness of surrender, when the heart is open, when the hands release. Abraham named that place Yahweh-Yireh, the Lord will provide, and even now that name echoes across mountains, across generations, into your soul tonight. He will provide. He already is. Let that truth wrap around you like a soft blanket. You are not alone. Your mountain is not meaningless. Your altar is not empty. And your offering is not unseen. You don't have to understand. You only have to take the next step. You only have to trust the whisper more than the worry. You only have to breathe. So breathe. Inhale peace. Exhale fear. Inhale grace. Exhale control. Inhale surrender. Exhale striving. Tonight, let this story remind you that surrender never ends in loss. It ends in revelation. It ends in God. The God who calls you to trust is the same God who walks beside you, and the same God who sees the ram, even when you cannot. So lay it down, all of it. Let him be enough. Let his voice be louder than your fear. Let the climb become worship. Let the altar become sacred. You are not walking alone. You never have been. And the mountain you face is not your ending. It is where you will meet your provider. And in the next part, we will descend with Abraham, not alone, but transformed, marked by surrender, held by mercy, and more certain than ever that the God who promises always provides. Now breathe slowly, deeply. Let the stillness settle in your body like sand in calm water. Let your soul lean back, like branches leaning toward the night sky. This moment is not about answers. It's about awareness, about becoming still enough to hear the whisper behind the noise and feel what your heart may have been too busy to notice. You are here, now, breathing beneath the same stars that Abraham once saw. That same sky, that same silence, the same Creator, and the same promise still echoing through eternity, still reaching you tonight. Maybe you've wandered, not in miles, but in moments. Maybe you've waited, not in years, but in prayers unanswered. Maybe you've carried hope that feels too heavy, or doubt that's grown too loud. Maybe you've watched dreams delay and wondered if they were ever real at all. And still, you breathe, you show up, you listen. And somewhere inside, something in you still longs to believe. So let's go there, back to the desert, to a man standing under stars too many to count. To a night so still that even his breath sounded sacred. Abraham, tired, aged but not abandoned. A man who had heard a promise so large it echoed louder than his doubts. A voice that said, "Look up," and tonight, you do the same. Look up, not with your eyes, but with your spirit. Lift your focus from the ground of what's gone wrong to the heavens of what is still possible. Lift your thoughts from the heaviness of now to the horizon of what's to come. Lift your heart from the soil of disappointment to the sky of divine reassurance. Because sometimes faith isn't about fighting. Sometimes faith is about looking up, about remembering that the night sky is not empty. It's full of stars, full of promises, full of reminders that God speaks most clearly when everything else is quiet. What are your stars? What has God whispered to you beneath your own skies? What dream, what hope, what calling have you tucked away, maybe too fragile to name out loud, but too sacred to forget? Have you stopped looking up? Have you stopped expecting? Have you let the silence convince you that the voice no longer speaks, or the stars no longer shine? Friend, there is no expiration date on the promises of God. They are not undone by age. They are not canceled by delay. They are not void because of doubt. They are still alive. Because the one who promised is still present, and he has not forgotten what he whispered to you, even if it was years ago. Even if you've buried it under layers of realism, logic, and survival. Let yourself feel it again, not because it's easy, but because it's holy. You were not made to live eyes down, heart heavy, breath shallow. You were made to walk with hope, to live in rhythm with grace, to believe even when belief trembles. Tonight, you do not have to figure it all out. You only have to return to the promise, to the pause, to the posture of faith that dares to say, "God, I still believe, even if I don't know when, even if I don't know how, even if I've questioned everything else. I still believe you are who you say you are, and that you finish what you start." Abraham believed, not because it made sense, but because the voice behind the stars was more real than the years in between, more real than the empty places, more real than the delay, more real than the weariness can. You trust again. Can you believe again? Can you look up again, not because you see the outcome, but because you trust the one who speaks in the waiting, the one who counts your tears, just like he counts the stars. This is not about forcing hope. It's about remembering that hope is not a feeling. It's a direction, a decision to keep facing upward, even when your feet are tired. There is a sky inside you still wide enough for wonder, still big enough for promise, still holy enough for encounter. So open your hands, not to grasp, but to receive. Open your heart, not to perform, but to remember. You are still on the journey. You are still under the stars. You are still held by the one who numbers each light in the sky and each breath in your lungs. He has not changed, and neither has his heart toward you. You don't need to earn your way back. You don't need to explain why it's been so long. You only need to be here, fully here, beneath the stars, in the stillness, in the trust. So breathe again, slow and steady. Let your body rest. Let your heart soften. Let your spirit return to the posture of wonder, of listening, of expectation. Because this isn't just Abraham's story, it's yours. 2. It's for all of us who have waited, hoped, failed, doubted, and still dared to believe that God is not finished. So look up, not to the sky, but to the faith that still flickers, the hope that still hums quietly beneath your skin. And remember, the promise was never just about the stars. It was about the God who placed them there, the God who called Abraham his friend, the God who walked with him in the waiting and met him in the silence and fulfilled what he had spoken. That same God is with you now, speaking, guiding, reminding you to lift your eyes, because the promise still stands, and he has not forgotten you. Now, dear one, close your eyes gently. Feel the weight of your body sink into the mattress beneath you. Let each breath come softer now. Let your chest rise and fall like the rhythm of a slow and ancient song. Steady and still. And imagine the desert, not a harsh place. Not now, not tonight. But a quiet expanse of warmth and wonder. The sky above you velvet blue, stretched so wide it feels endless. A blanket woven by the hand of God Himself. Stars scattered across it like diamonds in a sea of deep silence. You feel the cool sand beneath your feet. Each grain a whisper of time, of stories untold, and before you stands Abraham. Not yet the father of nations, but a man with questions, with longing in his soul. With hands open to heaven and heart heavy with waiting, he walks slowly, and you walk with him, side by side through the sacred stillness, no words spoken, only breath, only stars, only the hush of eternity pressing gently around you. Both you look up and the heavens pulse with light. Not harsh or blinding, but soft and steady, glowing like the gentle gaze of a loving father. And as Abraham stops, he lifts his eyes to the sky. You do the same. And something within you stretches wide to a voice, not loud, not from the clouds, but deep inside, deeper than thought, deeper than memory. It speaks not in language but in knowing, and it says, "Look up, child. Count if you can. And though you try, the stars are too many, more than your fingers, more than your breath, more than your days." And then the voice comes again, steady and kind, "So shall your offspring be." And Abraham stands still, eyes full of stars, heart full of wonder, and you feel it too. The promise not just to him but to all who listen, to all who wait, to all who wonder in the night. You are here, not just watching but belonging, not just imagining but remembering. As though your soul once stood here too, beneath these same stars, beneath this same voice. And it tells you, you are not forgotten, you are not small. I see you as I saw him, I know your name, I know your path. And Abraham, with all his questions, with all his waiting, he believes, and his belief is like a light that warms the dark, a fire that doesn't burn but comforts. And in that warmth you feel it too, a flicker inside your own heart, faith waking gently from its sleep. The stars above seem to sway with the promise. They shimmer in patterns your eyes don't fully understand, but your heart does. They tell of generations yet unborn, of stories unfolding through time, of a tapestry being woven that includes even you. You walk further now, and the desert becomes less a place and more a feeling, vast and sacred and full of God. Every breeze is a breath from him, every stone a silent witness. And Abraham turns to you, his face kind, weathered by wind and hope, and he doesn't need to speak. Because you understand now, you understand the promise was not only land or lineage, but presence, a nearness that follows even into the unknown, even through years of silence, even when the stars are hidden by clouds. And in this moment, your body relaxes deeper, your breath even softer, and you see a future, not in detail, but in light, a soft golden thread pulling forward from where you are, toward what God has spoken, not loudly, but clearly, quietly, like stars whispering truth. The desert fades, not gone but transformed, and you find yourself lying beneath that sky still. Only now you realize it was always above you, always there. Even when you could not see it, the promise is still real, still spoken and still shining, and your name, dear soul, is known by the one who made that sky, who called Abraham friend, who calls you beloved. So breathe in that peace, let it wrap around your heart like a gentle cloak. Let the memory of starlight fill your spirit. Let every heartbeat echo with the same rhythm of promise spoken beneath the heavens. You are not here by accident. You are part of a divine remembering, part of a story still being told, and just like Abraham, your trust, even small, even fragile, is seen, treasured, and woven into something eternal. You rest now in the glow of what is unseen, in the hush of what is true, and the same stars that watched Abraham still shine for you, still sing over you, still keep the promise alive. No burden is too great for the one who holds galaxies in his hands. No fear too loud for the silence of his peace. No distance too wide for the arms of his love as you breathe. Feel yourself held in that same embrace. The embrace that stretched from Eden to Abraham to you, unbroken and undimmed, stronger than time, softer than night, and in that knowing, in that resting, let your soul be still, let your thoughts fade, let the stars carry your worries away like sand on the wind. And know this, the promise remains, the light endures, and sleep, like faith, is simply letting go into hands you can. Trust sleep now beneath the stars, dear one. Sleep in the promise, sleep in peace. So now, beloved soul, as your body finds stillness, as your breath becomes slower, gentler, softer, let the words settle within you like dew upon a quiet meadow. Like stars resting upon the edge of night, God's promise was not just for Abraham. It is for you. It is for now. It is for this very breath you take. This quiet moment you dwell in. You are seen. You are known. You are chosen. Just as the stars were counted for a promise, you are counted in the heart of God, one by one, endlessly. Known, deeply loved. You are not lost in the dark, not forgotten in the silence, not abandoned in the waiting. You are where God meets you, where heaven leans low, where grace finds your name and whispers, I am here. Again and again, you are the echo of a promise, the continuation of a covenant, the fulfillment of a plan shaped long before the beginning, a plan carved in the night sky, written in stars, spoken by the same voice that calmed Abraham's heart. You are not walking alone, not dreaming alone, not hoping alone. The God who led Abraham under the stars walks with you, waits with you, breathes peace into your soul with every exhale, every beat, every pause. So breathe, beloved, breathe in peace, breathe out fear, breathe in hope, breathe out burden, breathe in presence, breathe out the weight of the day. Let it all go, let it all fall away, because you are safe, because you are held, because you are wrapped in the quiet strength of the one who never sleeps, never slumbers, never forgets. You are not waiting in vain, not holding on for nothing, not believing without reason. The stars still shine, the promise still stands, the voice still speaks. I will bless you, he says. I will keep you, he says. I will make you into something more than you can see, more than you can count, more than you ever imagined. He says so. Let it settle, let it sink in, let it root deep, deeper still, until your whole being knows it, until your whole being trusts it, until your whole being rests in it. You are not the end of the story, not the forgotten chapter. You are the page God turns with care, the prayer he answers with timing, the vessel he fills with love. And so we affirm, again and again, until it becomes a rhythm inside us, until it becomes the heartbeat of our rest. God is with me. God is for me. God is in me. Am not alone. Am not forgotten. I am not abandoned. His promises are yes and amen. His promises are steady and true. His promises do not fade with time. Do not weaken with waiting. Do not fail in the night. God sees me. God remembers me. God leads me. I can rest in his timing. I can trust in his plan. I can sleep under his stars, knowing that the same sky that held Abraham holds me. And now, dear soul, let us pray, gently, slowly, deeply. God of Abraham, God of the promise, God of stars and sand, you who never fail, you who always come through, you who see us when no one else does. Hear us now. We thank you for the stars that remind us, for the silence that reveals you, for the waiting that draws us closer, for the night that invites us into trust. We release our fears to you, our weariness, our longing, our wandering thoughts, our heavy hearts, our questions without answers. We receive your peace, your presence, your protection, like a warm blanket, like a safe place, like a father's arms. Let us rest now, not just in sleep, but in faith, in love, in assurance. Let us wake tomorrow lighter, gentler, steadier, still held in the same promise. And until the morning comes, until the sun rises again, we remain with you in your word, in your breath, in your promise, Thank you for being near. Thank you for never letting go. Thank you for still speaking under the stars. Amen. Now, dear soul, let this be your rhythm as you drift. Let these words stay with you like soft echoes in your dreams. God is here. God is kind. God is faithful. I am safe. I am loved. I am never alone. Sleep now in that truth. Sleep now in that warmth. Sleep now in that love. And if your heart stirs in the night, if your mind awakens in silence, remember, the same stars Abraham saw are still above you, still reminding you, still shining with the promise that has never left. Let your body soften. Let your breath deepen. Let your thoughts drift away like leaves on a river, slow, steady. Surrendered, you are cradled in grace. You are wrapped in peace. You are breathing under the wings of a faithful God. And as you sleep, may your dreams be filled with light, with hope, with whispers of the one who holds the universe, yet chooses to dwell with you. Before you go, if this story has brought calm to your night, comfort to your soul, or peace to your mind, I gently invite you to subscribe to this channel, to like this video, and to share it with someone who needs rest too, because more hearts need peace, more nights need hope, more souls need the stars again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Now sleep. Beloved, sleep in peace.